Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guest speakers, and all the audiences. Welcome to the International Webinar Series 24 hosted by the Virtual Research Center for Bioinformatics and Biotechnology managed by Jalan Tengah. My name is Jazira Sakina, and I'm honored to be your moderator for today's session. Thank you so much for joining us from the various places around the world. Today, we're going to explore the inspiring journeys of two outstanding researchers in our sessions titled My Postdoc Life Stories from China and Thailand. Our speaker will share their valuable experiences, challenges, and lessons learned during their postdoctoral journeys, which I believe will inspire and guide many of us there. Okay, today we have two inspiring speakers with us, Dr. Mada Triandala Sibero and Dr. Sylvia Indriani, who will share their remarkable journey postdoctoral in two different countries. First, let me check. Dr. Mada, are you already here in the Zoom meeting?
Yep. Hello. Good evening from New Zealand. Actually, in New Zealand currently at 6 p.m. and almost dark.
Okay. Good afternoon from Indonesia, Dr. Mada. All right, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mada is an overseas researcher at the Virtual Research Center for Bioinformatics and Biotechnology, or we can call it VRCBB. Back then, in 2022 until 2023, he is a postdoc researcher at Institute of Medicinal Biotechnology, Chinese Academy of Medical Sciences, and Peking Union Medical College in China. His research interest is in the microbiology area, mycology, bacteria, and also back then, Dr. Mada is a lecturer at the Universitas Diponegoro, Indonesia. All right, and then I will introduce our second speaker also. Our second speaker is Dr. Sylvia Indriani, S.TP M.Sc. Dr. Sylvia, are you already joining with us today?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Dr. Sylvia.
Hello. So good afternoon because we don't have a different time between
All
Thailand and
right,
Indonesia. So
yeah, we're
yeah,
same, right? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sylvia. Dr. Sylvia is a postdoctoral researcher at the School of Animal Technology and Innovation, Institute of Agricultural Technology, Suranaree University of Technology in Nakhon Ratchasima, Thailand. And Dr. Sylvia's research interest is in the food chemist, food packaging, and food technology. She will be sharing her inspiring postdoc journey in Thailand. Okay, today our sessions will go with each speaker will have approximately 15 minutes to present and then followed by a Q&A session where you guys can directly ask your question by raise your hand or just chat in the chat box. Okay, let's get started. Now let's begin with our first speaker, Dr. Mada. Have you guys ever wondered about how life as a postdoc researcher in China? Please welcome Dr. Mada. The screen is yours.
Thank you so much, Jaziro to Sakina, for the introduction for myself. And hello, Kia ora koto, or hello everyone. Greetings from Dunedin, New Zealand. My name is Mada Triandala Sibero. You can call me Mada actually. And for today, I would like to share about life as a researcher in China. I will talk about how I can embrace the culture and try to fit in science and technology, work habit, or yeah, those kind of things when I was in China for 1 year. So, short information about me. Well, I finished all of my degrees from bachelor until doctorate from Indonesia through a scholarship, namely PMDSU. So after that, I worked as a lecturer at the Universitas Diponegoro from 2018 until 2022. Then I have supervised more than 25 students actually for bachelor's and master's degrees, and I got around 14 grants as a PI from 2018 until 2022. So I was pretty good doing my job as a lecturer and scientist back then in Indonesia. But then I moved to China because I think I want to explore myself and I would like to get more opportunities to work abroad. So my research interests are related to microbiology and natural products. So my previous work, I focused on marine fungi. Then I did the identification well about the biodiversity of the marine fungi, especially associated from the sponges. Then I did some works with organic chemistry, try to isolate new compounds, and then yes, thank God I found several new compounds during my study. Then when I was working as a lecturer in Indonesia before COVID-19, one professor from China, his name is Professor Cheng Hang Sun, suddenly visited me in my previous university, Diponegoro University. Actually, Prof. Cheng Hang Sun, he was a good friend of my colleagues, Dr. Rudy. So at that time, Prof. Sun visited Dr. Rudy, and Dr. Rudy invited me to meet with him because between me and Prof. Cheng Han Sun, we have similar interests in microbial natural products. Then when I tried to check his publication and then I track his research record, I get like more interest on his experience on working on determination of new species because when I check new species, especially bacterial new species from Indonesia, the report was not that really a lot, although our country, Indonesia, are full of natural resources. And that's why when he came, we discussed a lot about any opportunity for me to visit him or any opportunity of my students to visit his lab and do some internship or research for their final year. Then we kept in touch during the COVID-19. So it's very casual because at the time, both of us, we have our personal contact. So we used to like chat it using WeChat. But interestingly, me and Prof. Soon, we only met for 2 hours at that time. So after 2 hours, he returned to his hotel. At that time, he stayed uh, in Surakarta, if I'm not mistaken, because he came to Indonesia for for a conference, and then we just like kept in touch through WeChat, and then we decide to invite one of my students to go to his lab and do some research about marine bacteria, especially how to determine the new species. Unfortunately, COVID-19 hit, so we need to cancel that one. Although COVID-19 hit, we still keep in touch. We still like chatted and check each other. Are we okay? Were we okay or not? And then yeah, this kind of things. It's very very casual conversation between me and him. But in the same year, before COVID hit as well, I went to Toyama Prefectural University in Japan for my sabbatical. So I worked from November 2019 until February 2020 because at that time the project was terminated due COVID-19. So when I was in Japan, I worked with again natural products from bacteria, but at that time I worked with Indonesian bacteria, yeah, that I isolated from an air-breathing marine slug, and then we obtained several compounds, and one of them was a new compound, and we published together with my professor. This is my professor. His name is, could you see my cursor? Hopefully.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. Okay, so this is my professor. His name is Professor Yasuhiro Igarashi. So Prof. Igarashi invited me to come back to Japan on November 2020, on November 2019, because I did my PhD research in his lab from 2017 until 2018. So both of us already knew each other. Therefore, he re-invited me, but unfortunately, the project was terminated because of the COVID. Then After COVID ended, out of the blue, Professor Cheng Hang Soon, Prof. Soon, uh, like sent me a message through WeChat and said, "Ha, Mada, are you interested to work with me in China? Because there is a grant from Chinese Academy of Medical Science that we can apply together. And if you get this grant, you can work in my lab for 1 year and we can extend until the second year. Are you interested, Mada?" And I was thinking like, oh, okay, applying research grant. And if I get it, I will go to China and it's only for 1 year. So I said, of course, yeah, let's apply together. And at that time, I did not expect anything because that grant was very competitive. Prasun also mentioned that maybe like hundreds of PhD graduates from China and other countries will apply for the same grant. So the possibility is very low. But then, praise the Lord, I got a notification, Prof. Soon, that both of us we got the grant. Sorry, and then that grant allowed me to work in China for 1 year, and it can be like extended for another 1 year. And so at the same time, because I was very happy, I directly said yes, although I know that my position in Indonesia was in danger because maybe the my university, well, not maybe, but my university was not really happy with that. But I still decided to go anyway. And then I told to my professor in Japan, Prof. Igarashi, that I get a grant from China and I will work in China as a research associate. Then I received this email from my professor that my professor said, Mada-san, why don't you just come to China, to Japan directly? Why you choose China? Just come to Japan and work again for me. This is literally what he said, and you can see in his email. So at the time, I was very confused which one I need to choose, whether I back to Japan or I should go to China because I've been in Japan for several times, but I never been in China at the time. So I made a very simple SWOT analysis about comparing between working in Japan and working in China. For the strengths, I think if I go back to China, to Japan, I already have a good relationship with the PI, with Prof. Igarashi. And then I already familiar with the country. I am familiar with the lab protocols, and it is like 2 years contract. On the other hand, if I go to China, the strength is I also have a very good relationship with the PIW, with Professor Sun, and that it is located in the capital city of China. So my research institute located in Beijing, and then it also paid me higher. Then I also get some additional benefits like insurance and so on. And then the project, if I go to China, is more related to microbiology than organic chemistry, which is I'm not a good chemist. I'm a microbiologist, not a chemist. But if I compare with between the weakness, if I go back to Japan, I think I've been there for several times, and then I'm not a good organic chemist. The salary also lower, located in a small city. So Toyama Prefectural University is located in Kosugi. It's like several hours from the Toyama itself. Not sorry, several hours from Tokyo. I mean, and then from Tokyo to Toyama City, it takes around 2 hours using Shinkansen. And then from the Toyama City to our campus, I need to take bus almost like 45 minutes and so on. So it's not that really big city. And then I cannot speak Japanese at all. Although I've been there for several times, I still cannot speak Japanese at all. Then I compare with the weakness if I work in China. So in China, the weakness is the contract is only for 1 year, although there is a possibility to extend for the second year. And then it's more difficult to bring family because I'm married. I have a wife and one son. If I go to Japan, it's easier for me to access everything and to prepare a family visa for my wife and my son. On the other hand, if I want to bring my family to China at that time, was not easy because 2022 the COVID was still roaring, and there was like a very lot of strict regulation in China if I want to bring family. And then on the other hand, for the opportunity, if I go to Japan for work, I will get more opportunity to work or to get what do we say, like position as maybe as a sensei or as a lecturer or as a scientist if I work in Japan, because basically Japan lack of people, so they need more scientists to go there and work for their research institute or university, either work as a scientist or as a lecturer. And then another opportunity that uh, I would have is my PI, my professor, Prof. Garashi, will help me to get a job in Japan, and then easier to bring family. On the other hand, if I go to China to work, I will learn a lot of new skills because again, um, in China, I work more related to determination of new species, which is I never did at that time, and I was really excited to learn about it. And then I will explore a new country, and then I will expand my connections because I at that time I only had Prof Sun as my collaborators in Japan. Therefore, I really want to know more scientists from China. Therefore, I want to know more scientists from China. And then the last but not the least, we cannot close our eyes and say because China, yeah, we need to agree in this point that China is the best country, I think, for now, if you want to learn science and technology, because in China you can get and learn almost everything, literally everything. And if you want to buy something from China, sorry, if you want to buy something for your lab, most of that products coming from China, and I think that's also a good opportunity for me, so I can expose to the newest technology, to the newest knowledge. Therefore, I really want to go to China at the time. But for the threat is if I go to Japan, of course, my contract as a lecturer in Indonesia was in danger. Well, similar like if I go to China, well, if whether I go to Japan or China, the point is if I go abroad at that time, my university will terminate my contract, and that was one of the biggest concern for me whether I go or not. But at the end, I said, okay, why not just go? So I just go and then leave my contract behind. And then if I went to China, if I sorry, I think number two supposed to be in this number two, it's supposed to be goes to Japan, not goes to not in China. I mean, like if I go to Japan and I say no, or I ditch the contract with Prof soon, maybe I will lose his trust and I will get bad reputation because I already get a contract between sorry, from Chinese Academy of Medical Science. So if I ditch that contract and I leave to Japan, so it will be very bad, and it will give me a bad reputation as well. Therefore, I think I should I should choose to go to China rather than go to Japan. And another thing for that is very difficult to get a science job in China. So even for Chinese themselves, they at that time they told me that it's very difficult to get a job. Therefore, I do really think about my future at that time. If I don't get anything, I think like kind of like any position after I return from China, what would happen? Because I already lost my job in Indonesia, but at that time somehow I do believe that God is with me. So I don't care at that time because I know The thing that I will do at that time is not for only for myself, but also for God and also for my family and so on. So I just keep moving forward and still, like challenge myself to go out of my comfort zone. Therefore, after I comparing between Japan and China, I decide, okay, for this time I will go to China rather than Japan because I get like more. China offered me more opportunity to learn, also offered me more benefits at that time. Although I know uh, if I go to China, there were a lot of uncertain things would be happen, but I still believe that it's okay, Mada, just go. Who knows what will happen to in the future? Just have a faith. So yeah, so at that time when I arrived in China, when I was arrived in my institute, I was really mesmerized because when I applied for that grant, I didn't know that the institute is that good. So I work for Institute of Medicinal Biotechnology, Chinese Academy of Medical Science, and Peking Union Medical College. So guys, if you check this institute in Google, you will find that this research institute was the pioneer in drugs development and discovery in China. So during the World War, if I'm not mistaken, during the World War, this institute also had a very good and big portion on developing all the kind of like antibiotics for Chinese citizen at that time. And some of the antibiotics, like local antibiotics that already established in China, also coming from this research institute. So I wasn't really aware for that one because I just think, okay, I just want to go to China. But when I arrived and then I read all the reputation and all the history, I was surprised. So okay, I come to a good institute. So again, this institute located in Beijing. It's also the center of antibiotic and drug discovery in China, center for new drug testing in China, and top institute in China for pharmaceutical sciences. Then let's talk about the working culture and working ethic in my lab, in specifically, but in China generally. So, mostly, like in China and Japan, they have like quite similar work culture where every scientist should be a self-driving research. It means we own our own research and we need to develop everything by ourselves. Of course, the supervisor or the PI will give you some directions, but still that directions just that direction is not a dead sentence, or you still can do and improve all the methodologies as long as the direction is good. Well, I mean, like the direction is good, but you should make sure that your supervisor will not dictate you. Therefore, for my supervisor, Prof. Sun, always make a fortnightly report or a progress report in every 2 weeks, so he can control all the researchers and also students, yeah, through that kind of like research progress. And then I need to be an independent learning. I never not only me but everyone will not ask each other. We just read the paper, and after we are stuck and we cannot find any information from paper, from journals, from YouTube maybe, then we will ask our colleagues. And then of course I work more than 48 hours a week. So sometimes I need to start at 8 a.m. in the morning and return back home around 1 a.m. because my experiments failed several times. And then I need to do like writing papers and so on. Therefore, some of us, we will work more than 48 hours a week. And another thing that's pretty surprising for me when I was in China, for example, if there is a public holiday in the weekdays, like from Monday, sorry, for example, the public holiday is on Tuesday. So the working days, sorry, the working hours on Tuesday are replaced to the weekend. So, for example, if the public holiday is on Tuesday, we will not go. I didn't go to the lab on Tuesday, but I need to go to the lab on Saturday. So although although Tuesday is your public holiday, but you still need to work at least 8 hours on the weekend. So it means that you need to go to the lab and work. And it's not only for our institute; it's kind of like national system. And then other things that's quietly interesting for me is professional relationship between lab members. So if you go to when I was in Indonesia doing my study, I think at that time it's quietly common for us to share about personal life, and then we will gossiping or something like that. But I did not get that kind of experience when I was in China, and I can see that my lab member, they were very professional. They will come, do their research. Of course, they're still chatting for several things, and after that, they will go to work and do their research, do their stuff. Sometimes I see them like gossiping, but not as much as when I was studying in Indonesia. Although it looks like very professional, but we still can build a relationship with them. And then this is also another good thing in China. There is no senpai or kohai relationship or senior junior system. So although, for example, there is like two PhD students, like PhD student A is younger than the PhD student B, but they will not call like high senior or a high senpai. No, there's no that kind of system in China. So they value you as your based on your achievement. They value you based on your performance. So if you are a good scientist, they will value you based on your papers, not based on how older you are. So they don't care about that. And then, of course, because I worked in China, the competitiveness was very, very high. So it's also pretty surprising for me when I moved down to New Zealand. In New Zealand, it's totally different. In here, no competition. It's very, very laid back. Sangat santai in bahasa. And then in China also there is like I forgot the Chinese phrase, but in English is shoot high, aim high. So usually people will say like shoot high, aim low, but not in China. They will ask you to shoot high, aim high. So you need to have a very high target. So you need to work very, very, very hard to achieve the target. And then it's also very good collaborative environments because most of the time I had experience to visit other labs outside of our institute, and then my PI Prof Soon also connected me with other scientists from other universities, so I got more connection. And one of my goals or one of my reasons to go to China was unlocked. And then, of course, I had a wide opportunity to explore my interests. Then, when I was in China, basically, well, a short story about what I did in China. Well, basically, I worked with hundreds of bacteria. We were looking for new antibiotics and new novel compounds. The research that I've done in China, I already presented in previous seminar from Jalan Tengah as well. So maybe you can check later. So this is a good thing of my supervisor, of my PI, Prof. Sun, because in his lab it's more like organic chemistry as well. Therefore, he sent me to another university namely Chunyi Medical University, this university. So Prof. Sun sent me to Chunyi Medical University and introduced me to my other supervisor. Her name is Professor Tuoli. So Professor Tuoli or Professor Lee, she is an expert of determination of new species and bacterial taxonomy. So I worked under Prof. Lee for 2 months to work with all of my new species. Through this collaboration, we confirmed several new species, and this is one of the output of my 1 year program, 1 year research, that I found one new species and has been published. Some of them, sorry, I mean like another new species are ongoing. Yeah, I mean like not ongoing. Well, the research has been done. I'm like the paper writing is ongoing. So hopefully, well, one paper has been submitted. Another two papers need to be written. Okay, then next, life in China. So my first uh my first experience living in China was amazing, but I need to tell you that my first impression was not that really good. Why? Because when I arrived or landed in China on December 2022, the lockdown regulation was still on. So after I landed to Beijing, one big bus picked me up and brought me into a hotel, and I was quarantined for 5 or 7 days. And during the quarantine, it was really, really scary because I couldn't meet anyone. When I opened, I cannot even I cannot open the door, and also I cannot open the window, so I only can see people from my hotel, but I cannot interact with anyone. And every morning, someone will came and knock the door, but I did not meet anyone. I just like see like food already put in front of my door. So it was really scary for my first 5 days. But after I went out of the hotel, and then my PI, Prof. Sun, picked me up and he brought me to my apartment, then I can see through the way that Beijing was really awesome. I can see like all the technologies, although at that time like very few people outside, but still I can see all of the lights. I still see like a lot of like robot and everything that I never seen before. So I was like, oh, okay, I need to go to that place, and so on and so on. And then I tried to go everywhere by myself. So I took like public transport. Although I cannot speak Chinese at all, again, I cannot speak Chinese at all. My language ability is not that really good, guys. So although like English, Bahasa, Chinese, Japanese, my language skill is very, very, very bad. So that's one of the things that I am really happy when I was living in China, that all the public transportation was very cheap and very clean and very comfortable. So if, for example, you want to take the train station usually very close, and then the bus station and the train station also connected. So for example, you take a bus from point A until point B, you only need to walk maybe 200 or 300 meters from point B to the entrance of like subway or train station. So it's really comfortable to go everywhere, uh, using public transportation. And this is a very interesting thing as well. As you know that, again, I cannot speak Chinese at all. People can notice that I'm not Chinese from my face. So although I am a Uyghurian or I'm a foreigner, I never get any racism when I was in China. And then every time I say to someone or strangers, I say like, hi, what's your Uyghurian? I'm a foreigner. And I will speak in English or speak with my body language, because as you know, in China, Google Translate is banned. So in my first 2 months, I use my body language to communicate with strangers. And once they know that I'm a foreigner, they help me really, 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 really greatly. So, for example, I need to go to my to a mall and I don't know how to go there, and then I ask a stranger, and stranger noted that I am not a Chinese and I cannot speak Chinese, so that strangers will directly grab their phone and then start to speak in Chinese and using translator. I think one of the best country that I ever visited is China because the people are really really awesome. But another thing again, working in China means that you need to overwork. You need to work sometimes on the weekend. So well, as an as an Indonesian, maybe you will say, "Ah, it's kind of common, Mada." No problem for me. Yes. But after I come to New Zealand and I compare with the working culture in here, it's totally different. Because in New Zealand, you only work from 8 until 5, or if you want to like work a little bit harder, you can stay until 6. But after 6 you should go home because your boss will say, hey Mada, you have another life, you have family, spend your time with your family, not with your job. So yeah, that's kind of things that I realized after I moved and work in several countries. And then again, the public transportation is awesome. This is the like fast train. I use this fast train several times to go to Shanghai, Hebei, Xinyi, and so on. And this is the like public subway that we have in Beijing. And another thing is, I don't say that my salary is that high. No, my salary is not 50 million rupiah per month. No, not that much, but with that money, and then I still can save and send my money to my family in Indonesia. I still can afford a very very good life. I travel a lot, and if you want to learn about culture, learn about ethnicity, you want to learn about all the uh, history about Asia, go to China. Seriously, I do really really love my time when I was in China. I learned a lot. I explored, I visited a lot of great places. And one of them is the Great Wall of China. And I tell you, the price is not that expensive. Seriously. So if you have budget, same, for example, like you, if you have a budget that you want to use to go to Japan, I think you can use the same budget to go to China, but you will get better experience because in China, everything is cheaper, in my point of view. And then after that, yeah. So during my work or my visit again, when I was in China, I visited a lot of collaboration. Sorry, a lot of universities. I visited Hebei North University. Again, I also did my research at Chunyi Medical University for 2 months, and then these are some of the new species that I obtained and determined. On the other hand, for collaboration with Indonesia, so during my stay in Beijing, so I tried to connect between China and Indonesia, between my research institute and my other, not my other, but my collaborators research institute, which is BRIN. I have a good collaborator. Her name is Dr. Dewi. So I really really want to both of them have a good collaboration. So I introduced Ibu Dewi to Prof Sun, and then Ibu Dewi very interested to have collaboration with him. So try to connect. We had several meetings together, and then October 2023, we successfully visited BRIN. So I brought my professor from Beijing to Jakarta to meet Prof. Oki and his team. And then, not surprisingly, but thank God, through these introduction meetings, now Brin and Prof Sun with the IMB, they have a good collaborations. Therefore, this year, one of researcher from Brin, Bapak Joko Tri, PhD, he's doing his postdoc in Prof Sun's laboratory, yeah, until November 2025. Then beside Brin, I also brought my PI, Prof. Sun, to visit several research institute and also university in Indonesia. We went to IPB University, we went to Mero, located in Bali. Then we also visited Pajajaran University. I'm really sorry I couldn't find the pictures because I forgot where did I put my flash pen. So I lost the pictures, but anyway, we had some collaboration through guest lecturers in ITB, Pajajaran University, Mero, and IPB University. And for my newest activity, so early 2024, because my wife already in New Zealand at that time, and then we agreed to reunite together. So I moved down from Beijing to New Zealand. Then I worked at a startup, namely Mushroom Material. But basically, I was working as a mycologist, and we focus on developing a fungal biomaterial for packaging. So, well, maybe you can find it in the internet that the point is we try to make a bio packaging using mushroom mycelia. Then recently I joined University of Otago and Bioeconomic Science Institute in New Zealand to work with bacteriophages as a biocontrol. So now I can say that I'm a general microbiologist because somehow in Indonesia I work with fungi, and then I moved to Japan and China. I work with bacteria. When I moved down to New Zealand, I work with bacteriophage. So, well, let's see what kind of work that I can publish later as a PhD students because I redo my PhD in New Zealand at University of Otago. I got a scholarship, a full scholarship from Bioprotection Aotearoa. I think that's all from me. Hopefully, my English is not that bad, and everyone can enjoy my presentation. If you have any questions regarding everything, including the science thingy, just let me know. You can flick me in my Instagram or in my LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Back to you.
Okay, what an insightful session, Dr. Mada. I am out of my words, speechless, because Dr. Mada tell us the whole stories from making hard decisions between Japan and China, and then to adapt different culture from slow living in Semarang to rush living in China. And also, Dr. Mada tell us about how wonderful Beijing is. All right, guys, if you guys have a question, just drop in the chat box first and wait till the Q&A sessions. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mada. All right, now we will move to our second speaker first, Dr. Sylvia.
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Sylvia. Okay, okay, so have you ever wondered, guys, about how life as a postdoc in Thailand? Please welcome Dr. Sylvia. The screen is yours.
Okay, so let me share my screen here. All right. So thank you for having me here, and I would also thank Jalan Tengah and VRCBB as well as the moderator that has introduced me this time. And also I would acknowledge Dr. Mada, who is actually, he is my brother-in-law, and thank to bring me here too to just share about my how to live in Thailand as a postdoctoral researcher. So my name is Sylvia Indriani. You can call me Sylvia. This is my educational background. So I graduated from IPB University, majoring in food technology back then in 2018. And then right after I did my bachelor, so I pursued my master master degree in food science under the scholarship of the faculty in King Mongkut Institute of Technology Latrabang, or KMITL. And then due to the pandemic, actually in 2019 back then, I got the scholarship for enrolling the PhD in there. But due to the COVID and, I was unable to go back home first and then to do the PhD. So my advisor, or in Thailand, we call them Atan, suggested me to Sylvia, why don't you just like straight started your PhD right away right now? So that's why the reason also why I fasten like make a shortcut, just okay, why not to continue my PhD in the same university also. And also to share, it's not only because I got the scholarship and then because of the COVID that make me just do the PhD. Oh, it's not that way. Because when I decided to study master in there, I found my passion in doing the research itself. And then I found that by doing master, I don't think my skill, or the writing skill and whatever the lab skill that I have is enough, or it's I didn't feel that way, that I wasn't satisfied enough, because I thought that I could do more and I could do better than this. So anyway, so I finished my PhD back then 2 years ago in 2023. And my research interests are basically food chemistry related to the product development, product characterization, composition, nutrition, flavor, texture, but more focused on the protein chemistry. If I can be more specific in the particular extraction and characterization of collagen hydrolysate, as well as edible insect, because this is what I did when I was doing master and PhD. But now I'm trying to shift not shift, let's say, to explore or broaden my research interest, which is food processing related to the meat packaging, meat quality, about the shelf life of the meat. How can we extend the shelf life, and what kind of the changes when we store the food, let's say. This also includes the food biochemistry, functional food, bioactive peptides, and now this is still quite new to me because it's related to the biotechnology, because if I track back, it's quite different from food science. So it's about omics, and now I'm working with metabolomics and proteomics. So the current research direction that I've been doing since 2023, let's say, because that time is when I started my postdoc journey in Thailand. So first is the meat packaging related with the various types of meat, not only chicken, goat, fish, prawn, edible frog, and snail, and then the protein extractions and characterization self. And the last one is the flavor development, volatilomics, proteomics, metabolomics, as well as related to the microstructural changes. And this is just kind of other voluntary work. So I've been actively reviewing some manuscripts from these international reputable journals. And other than that, I also had several opportunities from Indonesia and in Thailand itself. In 2023, so I was invited by Dr. Mada to give a training actually about the basic technique for identifying antioxidant activity of bioactive compounds from, if I'm not mistaken, it's about from marine sources. And then the following years, I was invited to IPB University to give a lecture about metabolomic application for chicken meat identification. And this year, I was able to deliver the lecture for the postgraduates about the topic of collagen gelatin hydrolysate from agricultural byproducts, and as well as the academic co-supervision for postgraduates, especially in my lab. And lastly, I also I'm trying to gather or to initiate the collaboration, especially research base between Indonesia, Thailand, and New Zealand. And I would like to also highlight that in Thailand itself, I used to work with various universities, so not only in KMITL or in my current universities, but also across the regional universities. So I have no idea, perhaps if some of you are a postdoctoral researcher, but I just want to give a quick recap, because before I didn't really understand well what's the meaning of postdoctoral researcher or something like that. So because when I met my friend back then in Indonesia, and they were thinking that, oh, Sylvia, I thought you graduated already, but why you still work under university, something like that? Haven't you graduated yet or something? So this makes me realize that, oh, not many people understand the term about the postdoc life. So this is why. So fun fact about postdoc is that the so-called PhD afterlife, this is the first impression that came to me right after I graduated my PhD. And then secondly, is actually a chance to upgrade our academic profile, which is, as we know, just publishing many papers as much as you can. That's what they say. And then other things is, it's basically just a regular job, which can be a contract or project based. And lastly, this is what was really happening to me, maybe slightly different from Dr. Mada, because the well-known publication machine, like I said earlier, which is just try to release the paper as much as you can, something like that. So a little bit more introduction to what I've been doing since 2023. So again, I involve myself quite linear with my bachelor major, which is food technologies, and then I try to shift to food science and then continue with the food science. But then I got this opportunity to do the postdoc under my PI, or principal investigator, since 2023, and her school, or including my affiliation right now, is School of Animal Technology and Innovation. So it's about what across into my mind was just, oh, this is about meat science, breeding, feeding. I would go to the farm, taking the sample by myself. That's what across in my mind, but it's not something like that. So it's actually the research that I've been doing is following my PI's project, which is, I would say I'm quite lucky that I have her to be my PI, because she also graduated from food science and technology. So her research direction is about post-harvest of the meat, still related to the food science and technology itself. So I'm quite grateful to have her here. So we have to understand the term of the full-time postdoctoral researcher or part-time postdoctoral researcher here. The first term, it means that this is the position that I'm holding right now, I didn't have any affiliation, any other affiliation like in Indonesia as a lecturer or as a researcher in Indonesia. So that's what I call as a full-time postdoctoral researcher. And then another one is the part-time postdoctoral researcher. This is, I think we all know that maybe if we ever heard that, oh, there's a lecturer and then she's away, she's not in Indonesia because she's doing postdoc in Japan, she's doing postdoc in Thailand. So it means that they're still holding their status as the lecturer in Indonesia, but then doing a short-term research abroad. So here is a little bit picture. This was taken in 2023. That's the first year that I started working with my PI. As you can see at the first up there, that was a quite new experience to me because I have to use synchrotron. I don't know if you ever heard about it, but as I know, many Indonesian researchers from BRIN came here to use this facility because it's the famous about, that kind of advanced analysis. So it was quite a new technique to me to learn that I have to do since I didn't have the basic in physics. And the lower the lower picture here. So she's my PI, and then the rest are my lab members. And that time we also joined the conference in Chiang Mai, Thailand. So a short introduction to Suranaree University of Technology. Well, I'm sure that everybody knows Thailand, and mostly when you heard about Thailand, they're gonna go direct you to Bangkok. But wait, this is Suranaree, and where it is quite rural area, honestly. So it's located in Nakhon Ratchasima, Thailand. Also, still we have this kind of grouping of the university based on the age. So SUT, or Suranaree University of Technology, still is still categorized as the young university in Thailand, which is based on the, it's still clustered as the research-based university. This is quite different from my previous university, like KMITL. KMITL is based on the innovation or something like that. So in Thailand, the Ministry of Higher Education, they have several clusters about the university, how they group the Thai universities, because this is also related to the budgeting about the research. How can we easily get the research money, something like that. And then in the place that I'm working right now, we don't call as a faculty and then department, but we use the word of institute and school. So institute refers to the faculty, and then school refers to the department. And then, so the institute itself, I belong to Institute of Agricultural Technology. And we have 4 schools. So here we have a crop production technology, and mine is the animal technology and innovation. And we also have the food technology, at last biotechnology. And then in general, the main research focus in our laboratory is about the post-harvest science and technology of animals. This is focused on the meat quality. And then the second one is aquaculture and seafood products. As I mentioned before, this is quite different research institute, but we are located in the same area. We have Synchrotron Light Research Institute, which is, as far as I know, in Asia we only have three or four synchrotron centers. One in Singapore, one in Thailand, and I'm sure in Japan they have, and then China some. And they're trying to build another branch of this, which is in the next 7 years later. So this is what I told you earlier, that some Indonesian researchers were sent here to conduct 3 months research using this machine, because they only open, we call it as a beam service. So it means the period that they only open to do the lab, and then they will close for several periods, and then they will open again. So this facilities mostly for material science, but it doesn't mean that from the biotech or from the food science and technology we cannot use it, because I used that service before. Mostly the one that I used was FTIR techniques or X-ray or something like that, not the too advanced one. So a brief introduction to my lab. JP Lab stands for Jaksuma Pongsatkul, which is my Ajahn. So we have, this is my lab member. The PI is Ajahn Jaksuma, and then me, the only postdoctoral researcher, and then we also have postmaster researcher here. And this is also, now we have 3 postgraduate students from Thailand and from Cambodia. And I think last year and this year, we had this 3 international students visited our lab to do some short-term research. And here's some, actually, well, I would say a little bit activities, non-academic fellowship with our lab members. So the life of postdoc, it doesn't mean to be, maybe this is a little bit different from Dr. Mada has explained about the culture or something, because once I started working under my PI, and she just said, Sylvia, I know that you can work during the weekend, you can work anytime, but I want you to have the work-life balance. because even she goes to the exercise every day. So she keep reminding me, please do not work during weekend. So that's the value that I really appreciate to have her as my PI. So why did I choose to work in Thailand? Again, the strength, I'll just give a brief following Dr. Mada has mentioned earlier. The strength is that, yeah, I had a good relationship with my PI. So basically, my PI was junior of my previous supervisor. So, but before I didn't know before I applied the job, and then after that I sent her an email and dear, I call Ajahn, dear Ajahn Jaksuma Pungsetku, I'm interested in doing postdoc under you because she posted on the Facebook that she needed the postdoc to do this and that, something like that. So, and then I was surprised when she said, oh, I remember you. I met you once when you were doing master. And after that, yeah, the conversation went well. And then I started to work with her. Anyway, the second one of the strength to work in Thailand is, well, yeah, I'm familiar with the country, food, and the culture because I've been living in Thailand since 2018, which is, let's say, almost 7 years now. And then I'm also familiar with the laboratory protocols. And I would say this is my, lucky point is that I have a flexible working hours since my PI has, that kind of trust me. So she said to me that I can work anywhere as long as I can get the job done, something like that. And then the meaning of flexible here is also about the depending on the PI and laboratory style. For example, in my lab, the postdoctoral, like me, postdoc, I did not do much lab work, but mainly focus only writing. But it doesn't mean that, oh, that looks easy, that job looks easy. No, because sometimes, like I told you before, I've never worked with the omics before. And then suddenly, Sylvia, this project we have to finish. You have to close this project by writing paper about omics. And that was my very, very first time writing omics. So I have to turn my brain and then how to understand this result because I didn't do myself. So mostly we just, that kind of, because this is not, how to say, this is the work life. So we get a project and then we just try to find a way how to finish this project as soon as possible. And then we can move on to the next project, something like that. So my PI was trying to find the shortcut way to close the project. Let's say just send the sample, we got the result, and then we interpret, we write, we publish, and that's all. Okay. And then continue to the weakness. Yeah, I have to deal with multiple projects at once. So sometimes this is why I have to say multiple projects. So the first year, I think the 1 month before I started to work here, so I was in Indonesia back then after I graduated for, let's say, 1.5 months. So that time I started to generate the proposals. I think as I remember the proposal for 2 years, commitment for 2 years, and then we have to publish 3. We have to state it in the proposals. It's about the code need. And then when I started working, I was writing about chicken meat or something. So which is after I finished with the chicken meat, and then it came another manuscript, another result that I have to write, which is about frog meat. And then after I finished with the frog meat, it moved again with other. Oh, this is now it's the snail meat. So this is I found myself. Oh, this is quite challenging for me to learn something new. Because meat, well, basically it's just a muscle meat, and then but when it turns to different sources, also mean different characteristics. This is why I found that it's also challenged myself to understand what is happening in this sample. So again, go back to the weakness. It's also the weather's issue. As we know that, well, maybe it's not different, Indonesia and Thailand, but for some sensitive people like me that have a skin issue, so it can be a really big problem because sometimes the weather is too hot and then suddenly it's raining, or that kind of the fluctuative weather changes. And then the next is the isolated working place. This is where I'm working. It's quite far from Bangkok, let's say 4 hours by bus. And it's not in the center of the city of Nakhon Ratchasima itself. So we have to travel around, well, 30 to 40 minutes by kind of angkot in Indonesia to get to my university. And then the last one, I think this is will be the same with Dr. Mada has mentioned earlier, language barrier. So even though my PI can speak English very well, but some of my lab members, they don't really speak English well. I would say it's not necessary, but it will be beneficial, it will be helpful if any of you or wanna work in Thailand, Japan, or China, or wherever you wanna work, at least to have the basic knowledge about the language where you wanna go. It will be really helpful at the moment to adjust. And then the opportunity, I can see that since I work as a postdoctoral researcher here, it opened many opportunity to me to connect with many Thai lecturers from different universities. And then we have this kind of big group project that consists of several lecturers, let's say from the well-known Thai universities like Chiang Mai University, Kasetsat, Konkan, and many others, which I will show you in the following slides. And then I also had the opportunity to learn many new techniques, let's say, including the omics, proteomics, and then that time I had to join the workshop of LF-NMR and bioinformatics, which is quite different, and for me it's fancy because my background is food science. And other than that is I also gained the national base connections across Thai University, and now I'm opening the new channel with other international connection with New Zealand Victoria University of Wellington to conduct the short-term research there this year. And the threats is if you plan to get a chance to get settled down, get the settled job position here is quite challenging unless you have the ability to speak, read, and listening to Thai language, especially, which is I'm still learning about it. And then the threat is the contract termination. In my case, is contract based, which is year by year will be renewed, so something like that. So even though my PI offered me once, Sylvia, you can extend your postdoc contract as long as you want. But I said to her that I think better to have a year by year contract because we'll never know where the future holds. So let's say if I just keep it for, okay, I will have 2 years and then I will just slower myself in working. But if I have this kind of, 1 year and then I have to achieve this, let's say I have to publish 1 paper to finish 1 year contract, and then I will continue the 2nd year, that will be more doable and keep my pace of working going on, rather than, I still have 2 years and then, why I have to hurry, something like that. And the working culture and ethic, yeah, so I think basically when we applied any postdoctoral in anywhere, we are required to have the highly motivated and initiative. It means that we have to be proactive, try to approach our PI about the project, how's the progress going on, what are we missing to close this project, something like that. What analysis that is failed, we have to, keep it actively communicated. And then enthusiastic with the strong communication skill. I should have just underlined the strong communication skill here. It doesn't mean only English, because I'm sure that Indonesian we have this. We can use English, and then English basically is not our mother tongue. So all of Asian universities will understand that, even though, you know, we have our strong accent, something like that. And we need to able to design and conduct the research independently. To conduct the research independently, this means making the proposal. If I can add on within bracket, is like as much as you can. So in this case, so when I was since my main work is writing, so I was assigned during my writing, I was assigned, oh Sylvia, this time we will have the research grand opening for submission. So please prepare this proposal for 2 years commitment with 2 papers, for example, like that. I plan to do this and that, so I just need to generate a proposal, something like that. And then the project goals oriented, which is publications, and mostly in Asian university, we expect to have, you know, the highest quartile, something like that. And I found that in here we have the collaborative environment, because let's say this is about also related with the connection that we have in across the Thai universities. Let's say in my lab in SUT, we cannot do this assay and then we just send the sample to other lab or to other universities to, let's say, contact her friends or something and then get the result, something like that. I found it more flexible and more doable to, you know, to open the connection and then keep the collaboration going on. And flexible working hours, this is for my case, something like that. But now I'm trying to tighten up my schedule. Let's say just work 9 to 5 or 9 to 4:30 during the working days. And then my PI also said that that will be preferable if you do like that. But we have this agreement before that in case we have the urgent work, for example, we have the revisions from editor or from the journal that we have to do it as soon as possible. Yeah, I have to work during the weekend. And that's also related to the next, which is ready to handle urgent works. This is just alert, keep myself alert, because sometimes, oh, Sylvia, she has to join the conference abroad in Japan. So please prepare this PowerPoint for me. Or let's say, oh, next month I will have this class. So could you please prepare the slides for me? Something like that for teaching. It's only, for you know, for postgraduates. And sometimes also she asked me to help the postgraduate students, something like that. And then at last is the work-life balance style of PI. So basically, nothing much, but what I'm gonna say is that the working culture especially, it really depends on the how your PI wants you to have in the lab. For example, you just wanna keep everything professional, 9 to 4, 9 to 5, that will be okay. Or else they specified, like in China, you should work like 48 hours per week. If we cannot achieve that, then you have to replace, add the extra working hours, something like that. But in my case is, work-life balance style. So this is, I'll share a little bit about, I don't know why, I think it's gonna be boring if I just show you a lot of text. So here, if you can see my cursors here, this is the first experience that I had. That time we had to do the sampling. So we had to go to the farm to catch the chicken by ourselves, because we need, this is our sample, honestly, chicken breast. We need to work with the chicken breast, and we didn't have enough sample at that moment. And then we had to join with other lab who's working with feeding impact or something like that. So they didn't need the chicken breast, so they usually just throw away. So this is the time that we can collaborate with other labs. So we took the chicken breast and then they took other parts, something like that. And then here, the second picture above, this is my very first experience in dissecting the frog, which is, I've never learned that before. So yeah, doing PhD will enable you to explore new skill and to do this, do not only something, many things beyond. And here I had to supervise the PhD student at that time, the visiting PhD student, when we are using synchrotron facilities. We use SAX, which is a small angle X-ray scattering here to study on the microstructure of the gel, of the skin matrix at that time. And when we use these facilities, we have to, sleep over in that lab. I think that's a kind of a usual practice to us. And this is what I call as a from farm to laboratories. And this is the time when I had to supervise the master student in here. And this is from farm to the laboratories, and then from the lab to lab, which means from laboratories to other laboratories. So here, yeah, I have to, as I said before, that we have to be an independent researcher. So we have to fix the problem with our machine. So we have to use, this kind of engineering stuff, which is I have to fix it myself. And this is I have to, when I was supervising the visiting students from Poland a few months ago. And then mostly as I said before, that flexible working hours, this also means that I can work and write anywhere that I want, as long as I can get the work done. And this is we ever receive the visitation from, I think, from Kasetsat and Burapa universities at synchrotron. And this is I was able to visit Indonesia back then, and then help in the kitchen, because that time we were having the workshop at Sugija Pranata University in Semarang at that time, and it's about the molecular gastronomy. And here is the lab where I'm working right now, and this is me when I was extracting the collagen. And here also I was invited to give a lecture about presenting my research, and then the last one just like sample preparation for NMR analysis. So what I'm gonna point out here is that for me personally, postdoc is the chance to gain, to improve my academic profiles, I would say. So my first year milestone here, I was able to publish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say six papers, excluding the conferences, and the national conferences. And to be honest, in Thailand, mostly the contract of the postdoctoral position will be, we have to publish only one paper, usually quartile 1 or quartile 2, or maybe maximum quartile 3, only one paper per year. But in this case, since I work with, multiple projects at once, so yeah, we publish like more than that. Here, we also had some collaborations with IPB University, other than Thai universities, and then with Vietnam, and then here also our collaboration with Dr. Mada at that time, because I simply asking for help. Pak Mada, could you help me with writing this? I found this is kind of interesting opportunity for us to collaborate, even though, we have a different background, but we still can, connect. And here, this is the conference, I think last year, that I'm so grateful to know them, because they're from their lecturers, and they're actively doing research and still connected from various universities. And here's the poster that we presented in that conference. We presented 2 posters. And entering my second year of working as a postdoc in here, we were able to publish, I think most likely six papers. and not only as a first author, but also as the co-author here. And I was able to conduct the workshop in Sugija Pranata Catholic University, and I was invited to IPB to give the lecture about metabolomics, even though at that time I was invited by my previous supervisor when I was bachelor degree, and then she was just Sylvia, could you just come here and then that kind of deliver this, because you're still fresh with this knowledge. Maybe you can share with your juniors here, something like that. And another achievement or milestone. So I was able to join the Falling Walls presentation, which is kind of a pitching competition about research. And my PI really supported me to join that. And then I was able to join to present the colloquium and the conference inside the universities. And for the regional collaboration, usually through writings, which is, here we have the PSU Prince of Songkla, Chiang Mai University, Walaila, Kemaitiao, Kasetsat, Burapa, Konken, my Faluang, and Maidor University. And for the international collaborators, we have IPB University, and then the one from France, Agro Dijon. And from Korea, we also have, and then from Japan, Hokkaido University, UPM, Vietnam, and from China, Hainan University, also Undip. And lately, I'm connecting with one professor in New Zealand to conduct the short-term research at Victoria University of Wellington. So now we have submitted our proposal to support our visit there. So the recent activities is basically my main chores is manuscript writing, research article, and review article. We have submitted the review article lately, and then now, still having the research article to be written. And the second one is prepare for the academic presentation, let's say for my PI's conference, research progress presentation, and the project closing. And then co-supervision for the thesis of master and PhD student in here. Also still conducting the collaborative research to initiate our ongoing, which is now I'm kind of open to for collaboration. If you have any willingness to connect, so just feel free to contact me. And as a volunteer as a peer reviewer for Web of Science Index journals, but not only this, but sometimes I also assisted the editor to review the the Indonesian-based journals. And then the current writing concentration is the proteomics and comprehensive microstructure of leads. So I guess that's all from me. I'm just grateful to have you here to listen to my presentation, or just sharing. If you would like to connect or want to discuss something not only about research, or maybe about how to live, how to consider, maybe if you consider to do postdoc or find a research-based or academic position in Thailand, you can just feel free to contact me by email. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Sylvia, for sharing your very wonderful journey. Anyway, as a social person, I think your lab NPI is fun, which you can get work-life balance. Dr. Sylvia go from the experience with plant biocompounds from IPB University to the postdoc life farm experience with animals. I think I noticed differences between Dr. Sylvia and Dr. Mada is while Dr. Mada enjoy with the linear microbiology work in China, Dr. Sylvia faces the first time using new analytical machine, learning so many new things, right? Okay, everyone, please give a virtual applause reaction to our two amazing speakers. You guys are amazing family goals. Okay, after you guys heard from our two great speakers, guys, which one do you prefer? Postdoc in Thai or in China? You can just write your opinion on the chat box. Okay, once again, thank you for our speakers for the inspiring sharing. We will now open the Q&A sessions. Okay, for the audience, you may type your question on the chat box or use the feature raise hand if you would like to speak directly. I think we already have the first questions on the chat box. Oh, okay. Wait, maybe I will prioritize for the Dion Saputra first. Mr. Dion Saputra, you can open your mic. Hello.
Hello. Okay. Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity for the asking the amazing speakers. I'm John Saputra. Hello, Dr. Mada. How are you? Thank you very much for the inspiring and interesting materials that you have shared. And Dr. Sylvia, it's very amazing materials. I would like to ask you both of them some question. For the first is, how did you balance the demand of research productivity with mental health needs while in your country to the study? And the second is, what was the most controversial or risky decision you made during your postdoc, and what were the outcomes? And the third or the last is, how did living abroad change your definition of success in your academic career and shape your professional identity in the eyes of the global scientific community? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Kak Dion, for the question. We have three questions from Kak Dion. Maybe if we don't get the second and the third question, we may ask you to repeat the question. But the first question is how to balance the demand productivity for the research and also the mental health. Is it right, Kak Dion?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay, so maybe I would like to invite Dr. Mada to answer this question first.
Okay, thank you so much, Dion. Hi, Dion. Long time no see. Hopefully, you are doing well there. I'm really sorry that suddenly my camera is not working. I don't know why. I'm trying to turn it on for many times, but still error. I'm really sorry. But anyway, thank you for the question. Like how to balance um work-life balance and also like kind of like mental health. To be honest, when I was working, well, Dion, because you were there when I was working in Indonesia as a lecturer. It's kind of not kind of impossible, like quietly hard, because like working as a lecturer was very demanding, a lot of things that I need to handle. Then when I moved to China, it's kind of similar because well, but the demands are different, pretty different, because in China the demands were I need to finish experiments because next week my PI will ask me where's the data, or I need to prepare everything for the conference, for the paper, and so on. So it's quietly difficult, yes, for balancing it and have a good mental health, for having a good mental health. But at the time, what I did to have a good to have a good mental health is uh, when hang out with my friends, eat good food, and of course, like go to church and praying and enjoying some religious activity. But yeah, as because now since I moved down to New Zealand, the definition of mental health is totally different. Because in here in New Zealand, so guys, everyone here, if you want to have a good work life balance and good mental health, please come down to New Zealand and Australia. Uh, because Like you only work from 8 to 5, and then you only work until Friday. You cannot go and enter your lab on the weekend. Well, you still can, but you need to process all the like permit, and you will decide, okay, I will not process the permit because it's like just too complicated. So yeah, I think if you are still in Indonesia or in any other Asian countries, guys, how to manage the insanity, try to do anything you love. Either hang out watching TV or go to the cinema, and do not touch any work during your free day. That's the key point, because like if you have free time, use it for fun, not for work. If you have work time, just work, because this kind of the things that I figure out after I move up to several after I moved to several countries. We as an Indonesian, when we are in the working day, we tend to do a lot of unrelated working things. For example, you will go for lunch for 3 hours, or you will spend 1.5 hours gossiping with your friends. It's totally different. Therefore, you need to because you went for lunch for 3 hours, you gossiping with your friend for 1.5 hours, then your working time is over. Then you need to extend your working time until late. So when you work in, for example, like in New Zealand, there is no time for gossiping. There is no time for lunch about 3 hours. You only have like 25 minutes, 30 minutes for lunch, or no talking during the working hours. But that kind of practice make us work efficiently, so we can finish everything at 5 p.m. in sharp and go back home. So that's kind of the thing. Maybe it's not that really related to your question, but I hope this answer can somehow connect with your question, Dion. Thank you, and good luck for your PhD in Japan.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mada, for the answer. So the key from Dr. Mada is self-reward. After working a long time, just treat yourself nicely. All right, move to the Dr. Sylvia.
So I may just give a little bit different perspective from me, because I used to be that person who had, kind of workaholic. I cannot just stay quiet, just stay doing nothing is impossible when I was doing PhD and master back then. And then I didn't realize that I carried that kind of lifestyle when I started to work, which is it's really, really bad to my mental health. So I had the sleeping disorder. I had that before. And what I understand was that it's just a simple, simple rational, something like this, because my mental was not really healthy at that time. So what I could do was just make my physical body tired, which is what I could do, let's say exercise. Well, I really hated exercise. So that's also where the time I found myself, oh, I enjoy running. It's not run that fast. I'm not an athlete anyway, just at least, because my work is mostly in front of the laptop. Office syndrome, and at this age it's not fun anymore. So just try to, get rid of, this kind of routine. It's really, how to say, it's really, well, now it's fine maybe at this age, but in the next few years we'll feel, oh, my back hurts, and we'll feel that way, kind of, early aging. And then I would say, like, yes, the workload is a lot, and then the mental health is also important at the same time. I would call as just have not have try to control and respect yourself. It means keeping the boundaries. Let's say, like Dr. Pak Mada mentioned earlier, I just set the boundaries. Let's say you work for 8 hours and then just work, no talking. Well, yeah, talking with others is okay. I mean, not doing. Keep focus on it. If you work, then you work. If you have a weekend, have a vacation, then you enjoy the vacation itself, something like that. But yeah, I would say, because I've been there before, so it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. Let's say to stop yourself not opening your notebook is struggling. I was struggling with that so much. Let's say if I don't open my notebook, I'm guilty as, you know, that kind of bad person. Like I'm not productive anyway. But yeah, I really understand when, if even more when we are studying as a student. Yeah, that's kind of, you know, the nature. So what I can say is just set the boundaries for yourself, something like that. Because self-care, it doesn't mean that you are selfish. Because your boss will, well, for me, lucky that my boss is also doing, you know, work-life balance. And, oh, Sylvia, why I didn't see you in the gym yesterday? Because we join aerobic dance together sometimes. So just like, oh, I didn't see you. Where have you been? Something like that. Yeah, she also encouraged me to join the exercise often because it's good for health, something like that. That's, I think, to balance the workload and the mental health. And maybe for me personally, I'm easily overwhelmed with the multiple project at front. For example, Sylvia, this year we have to publish 6 papers, and it's supposed to be published before October. Of course, I was overwhelmed, and then just try to break down. Okay, 6, and then we still have 6 months, so I can finish one draft 1 month, something like that. I think it will be doable, just a step by step. I think that's the best that I can share.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I agree with Dr. Sylvia. Break the to-do list is more nice to our body, to our mental health, and also not only mental health is important, but physical health. For example, building a healthy habit, exercise, something like that. Kak Dion, is it already clear for the first question?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, for the second question, you may correct me if I'm wrong. The second question is like, what is the most risky decision that you ever take for your work? Is it correct? Or you may correct me and you may replay your question.
Okay, maybe I will rephrase my second question. What was the most controversial or risky decision you made during your postdoc, and what were the outcomes? Because you know the doing research in, especially in laboratory, is a lot of methods, a lot of variable to using. So, what your controversial or risky decision?
Okay, risky decision during your postdoc. Got it. All right. So maybe for the second question, I will choose Dr. Sylvia to answer it first.
So for me, well, yeah, during living in this world, so entering the working place, I had several, you know, controversial decisions. One is including, okay, not into the technical work during my postdoc, but it was when I had to decide whether I continue my postdoc for the second year or not, something like that. And now I'm gonna enter the third year, which is some people, well, even my family, some of my family also, you know, give warn to me like, well, this is too long because, you know, for the career path, you don't need to take that long, something like that. At the same time, it can be my comfort zone, something like that. But I have this different point of view from them, and then because I found that I learn something new every day. So that's it. That's, you know, that in this working environment always encourages me to I can improve, something like that. And then, you know, that supportive environment really encouraged me a lot and support my growth. And just try to explain to my family, and then I'm happy working here right now, even though it's just like contract based, but I do understand that the consequences that I will face, let's say if I want to apply for some job, because some job position, let's say in Indonesia, they will limit the time, let's say not more than 2 years after graduation that you can apply, sort of stuff. Okay, that's the first. And the second decision will be, at that time that I had I had joined the training about synchrotron, the research, as I mentioned before, which is I had no idea what the institute is working on what, but this is famous institute that my PI encouraged me to, you should try, this is new technique, something like that. But I said to her straightly, I said I didn't have a basic about physics and something like that. So, but I found it interesting to do something with our samples. And then we went there. I went to the lab. We generated the proposal and also attached the expected results. And when we ran, I have no idea, maybe some of you are from the bioinformatics. And then for me, I saw those like 8 monitors in there. And then with the huge machine connected, I was just, is that the radio? It just looked like the, that kind of broadcasting radio studio. And then with these 8 monitors, and then I have no idea this is like what. And then we got the spectrum and other things. And then when we insert our sample, it's like in the big room, and then we have to lock because of the radiation is quite dangerous. You have to wait until this light turn to be green, and then you can get in, something like that. So it was quite, for me, it's the risky, because like I was entering another universe of analysis that I never know before, which is, well, interesting. I found myself interesting. At least I had the experience. I think that's for me.
Okay, Dr. Sylvia, you are very cartoony coded, very brave, and yeah, the best decision that Dr. Sylvia made is breaking barriers beyond our potential, learning new things, something like that. All right, thank you, Dr. Sylvia. We move to Dr. Mada opinions for the second question.
Okay. I think the hardest decisions. Well, I made two hard decisions during my postdoc. The first one is after 8 months of working in China, my vice dean texted me and said, Mada, do you still want to return to the university or not? It was really difficult for me to say yes or no, because I know that I love my job as a lecturer back in Indonesia, but at the same time, I also know that I want to try something new. I want to challenge myself. I know my worth. And at the time as well, if I return directly back to Indonesia, my wife already in New Zealand, so I will be separated again. But if I terminated my contract in Indonesia, it means I lost my permanent job. And at that time, I'm pretty well known by the staff in the university. Every year, I brought grant to the team. Easy for me to get like research funding locally, or even like locally, nationally, or even internationally. But at the same time, I also need to remember that as a scientist, when I work as a lecturer back then, I didn't have enough time to explore myself, to do research by myself. So it was like very, very difficult for me. Like, what should I do next? Because, for example, when I say, oh, if I said no, so I will be a jobless after my postdoc. But then uh, I came into in one point that I believe that I'm still young. At that time, I was still 28, 29. And then, yeah, 28. No, no, no. I was 29. I was 29. Then I believe that because I'm still very young, I was still very young. So I think I have more opportunities to work abroad. So yes, I replied to my vice dean and said, "Oh, thank you so much for contacting me, but I think I will not continue my contract in Diponegoro University." That was my first hardest decisions. And then my second hardest decision was when I need to tell to my professor in China that I will not continue my contract for the second year, because at that time my professor was very happy with my performance and he wanted to extend my contract until the second year to the second year. But at the time, my wife she was lonely down here in New Zealand, and then she asked me to come to New Zealand as soon as possible. But at that time, I didn't have any job yet. So I was really afraid that, oh my goodness, I might not get any job in New Zealand because I'm just uh, Asian graduates. I mean, like in New Zealand, they usually scientists who work here, they are graduated from Harvard University or from Oxford. Like my current supervisor, he was graduated from Harvard and then he finished his first postdoc in Oxford and then he then continued to MIT. I was like, ah, I'm just who am I? So I didn't have that confidence when I decided to go down to New Zealand. And but God is good. God is good. I need to tell you guys, God is good. All of my anxiety, well, not all. I mean, like some of my biggest anxiety, wasn't proven. I mean, like I still get a job, science job anyway. In here, I work as a mycologist. It was my first job and I still work in the laboratory. So although because I work for industry, it wasn't really research, but more to industrial purposes. But I was still very happy because I can work with fungi. So I think those are two biggest or hardest decision that I made during my postdoc era. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mada. I can feel you. It's like a very, very hard decision in the middle of the uncertainty today's work.
Yeah,
Yeah, but thankfully, yeah, just follow your heart, do your best, and
indeed.
let God do the rest.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. For Kadion, do you have any feedback for the question, the answer?
Maybe it's very clear. And for the third question, I will type in chat box maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Kadion already write it. How did living abroad change your definition of success in your academic career and shape your professional identity in the eyes of the global scientific community? Okay, Kadion already write the question on the chat box. So for this question, I may please Dr. Bada to answer it first.
Okay. Well, very interesting question. Well, I can tell you that when I moved down to move up to China, I think, and then I decide to I mean, I terminate my contract in Indonesia. I literally changed my definition of success because at that time, before I moved up to China, I told to myself that uh, I'm a success person if I can be a professor. To be honest, like I really want to be a professor, a young professor, because when I was in Indonesia, well, I started to work as a lecturer when I was 24, and I already got my PhD when I was 24. So my dream was to be a young professor. But by the time when I already joined the system, and then by the time when I already know all the facts, then I decide to not continue my like dream to be a professor in Asia. Then I move up to China and I see that this is the new definition of professor. That it doesn't mean that it doesn't matter whether you are a professor or not, as long as you have a good research track record. You can publish paper in a good quality and a good quality publisher or journals. And then as long as you still can build connections with other scientists abroad and you have friends everywhere, that shaped a new definition of success in my point of view. It doesn't matter for the title, but it's about your capacity and capability. So I think that is the new definition of success. But then when I moved down to New Zealand, the definition of success change again, because people who living here, although they are professor, they still can be a very good father. They still can be a very good husband. Uh, it means that when I was in China, when I was in China especially, my PI, Prof. Sun, he stayed in the lab until 11 p.m. So he started at 7, stayed in the lab until 11 p.m. Almost every day. He came to the lab on the weekend as well. And then, but he also a very, very good father, because usually during lunchtime he will return back to his home, cook for his daughter, and then make sure that his daughter and his wife well fed, and then he will return to the lab. And then for dinner he will also return to the he will return back to his home, and then had dinner together with the family and return back to the lab. He is a very outstanding father. But my new definition is I can be a good father and a good husband is I can work exactly 8 hours a day and then spend the rest of my time with my family. My family loves me, my son looking for me, and then I still can um generate good data. I can still publish paper, and then if I get a professorship later without in Japanese we say like without ngoyo. I don't know what should I use in English ngoyo. Yeah? I'm like without that extra
Effort.
thing effort that I need to like sacrifice my time with my family. So that's I think like the new definition of success for me, where I can be a good father, good husband, but also a good scientist at the same times. I hope that can answer your question.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mada. So I think like different area, different country, different environment also build a different perspective to see how life. Okay, and then please, Dr. Sylvia, you may answer these questions.
All right. So I would say since my background is basically just, continue study bachelor, master, then PhD right away. And I didn't have a gap of, the work to work, have a period, short time for period. I didn't have that experience like Dr. Mada had said earlier. So how did the living abroad change your definition of success and sort of things? Well, I don't want to say it's success, but I'm working on it. But the first thing first that really for me hit me, and then like found myself until right now, is that when I decided to leave Indonesia and then to pursue my study into back then 7 years ago, it was how to say, I remember what my mom said. It's just like you have she said that for me, when my doctor I can call my doctor success when she can independently live herself. Like something like that. This is I don't know. This is success in general to her, and without disturbing other people's business, something like that. But it doesn't mean that we cannot ask for help. No, just like try to live independently, and then from there. So that's the philosophy that I brought to Thailand, and make me able to survive, at least how to live my life. And then I remember when I came to Thailand for the first time, it was my, I think, 20-ish, which is like close enough to the quarter life crisis, when I need to find out, is this my passion, is this what I like, something like that. So the quarter life crisis was theirs, and I was battling with the cultural or something self adjustment. And I found that I need to assure myself, let's say, am I good enough? But I mean, in terms of doing the lab, because I know that my GPA wasn't that high, but I have eager to learn, to improve, something like that. And then how did the living abroad? So I can see this mostly from my supervisor, which is, yeah, let's say from my, I would say supervisor, because this is, I think, living abroad, not postdoctoral researcher. So I could see from my supervisor how she dedicated her life to the work. Well, it's not good when we spend most of our time, like leave to work. It's not that apparently good. But as Dr. Mada said, to have this balance, like you can do what you love, and then you can do what you're passionate about, and then I still can take care of my family. I still can spare time for them. This is, for me, is, yeah, something that I value the most. And again, success in your academic career, I don't think I'm success right now, but maybe for some people they think so, but I'm still working on it. And again, success, if we take it into the perspective of something that we can measure, of course it will come to, H index, and then how many papers, how many citation, and other than things, right? But again, it doesn't matter how many papers, how many high reputable papers that you have. I still remember this saying from my advisor before, maybe from advisor of my advisor before. So she mentioned that, Sylvia, you learn something if the paper that you publish can give you insight, like new knowledge. But if it's just, oh yeah, I know this finding, this kind of we know the trend already, and then I didn't get any new knowledge, and then, oh, I don't think I can call it as a success in my academic career, especially in that project. So I hope you all get this idea. So let's say, in general, I would say you should know what you're writing. It means you get new knowledge. If you don't know what you're writing, and then you know, just like, oh, let's say we found this new species, and then, okay, that's all. No, we need that, oh, we found this new species from Java Island, and this area with this blah blah blah, and then you keep this for the whole of your life. And then I would say it's kind of success in academic career. And then again, to shape your other thing is, shape your professional identity in the eyes of global scientific community. So this is quite heavy. I would say professional identity, because for me, I've been working in Thailand for long, since the master till now. Even some people would say, you just, like, this is your safe zone. So what I was trying to find a way is that time I was lucky enough, because my co-supervisor, he asked me to, Sylvia, could you help me to review this manuscript? So that time when I was doing PhD, and then I found that, oh, this is a new chance for me to understand the scene of the publishing, the editorial desk, what's happening, the reviewing process, something like that until now. So for me, that's also something that is valuable to me, the experience that he gave me until now. Sometimes I get the invitation from the journals to, to review their manuscripts, and then to decide, is this should be rejected, should be accepted, or should be revised, something like that. And then at the same time, it opened my mind about, oh, this is the research area that, let's say I used to deal with the meat, and then use the proteomic, and then they have this what is that, metagenomic something, which is, to me, is fancy. And then, you can do this technique with the same sample. Interesting. So that's also that shape my, how to say, let's say that the professional experience, I would say, even though it's, well, but the downside is that it's unpaid work. So, well, this is something that I have to deal with, and then of the global scientific community. So this is why I would say, I'm trying to expand my network through this reviewing to the voluntary work for the international journals, for the global scientific community, that enables me like that. Let's say I have this this connection in Thailand, and then I should have other things like, that kind of that. Well, because once we review for them and then they'll give us certificate, yeah, even though it's not, it's not worth your time maybe, but I would say I learned a lot from them, and then I can understand how to, let's say, shortcutly increase the age index, something like that, which is it is also important in the academic career journey. I believe so. I hope it's answer Dion's question.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sylvia. Okay, so from the two perspective, I might say that success definition is not only about number, quantification, or paper. It's beyond that. It's your work is can make a good impact not only for you but for the community also. And success is also we can define it as having a life, work, career balance, something like that. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mada and Dr. Sylvia, for the answer. So for Kadion, do you have any feedback?
Okay, thank you very much for the satisfying and valuable suggestion for me, for Dr. Mada and Dr. Sylvia, because as you know that I'm as a Gen Z, that I have a lot of things, and especially for overthinking about my journey, about my pathways for academic career in the future, because that in this era is a lot of problems for especially for researcher or scientists, maybe like for funding or etc. Because from your answer is make me more confident about my journey or pathways in the future. Thank you very much for your answer. I hope maybe we can meet again in another opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Kadion, for the three questions. That very, very great questions. All right. Now we will move to the next question. It's from Dr. Arif. Hello, Dr. Mada. What a nice presentation. Could you provide a detailed explanation of bacteriophage as a biocontrol agent? Thanks a lot.
Okay.
So this question maybe straight to Dr. Mada.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ari, for the questions. So basically, for this project, we try to obtain a phage cocktail that we can apply it later to be replacement of synthetic or chemical bactericide and fungicide. So basically, for this project, I need to isolate as much as possible bacteriophage that can combat some plant diseases, and then I will try to make a synthetic microbiome community. Then I will use some kind of like transcriptomic approach to see their interaction and then apply them to the plant. It's kind of like very technical, but but the point is, this research will try to find a new candidates of biocontrol to help the New Zealand farmers to combat some plant diseases. And hopefully, because this project also in collaboration with industry, so a lot of IP inside, but at the end of the project, we want to produce a product that might be one day can be the new generation of biocontrol. So that's all. If any of you guys you want if any of you have like technical questions about this project, you can reach me. I'm pretty open in question answer. Just flick me message through email or Instagram. We can have collaboration as well. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Dr. Mada. Dr. Arif, is it clear already?
Sure, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Arif, for the question. Also, Dr. Mada for the answer. If you guys have any other question, just write to the chat box. So maybe I will ask the question. The question is from me. Okay. I want to ask to Dr. Mada and also Dr. Sylvia. how to build such a good relation between us with our college professor or lecturer, because I actually want to pursue higher degree, like to build good relationships. So for next in the future, we will have such a good opportunities ahead. Thank you so much. Maybe Dr. Sylvia would love to answer it first.
So it's about how to build a good relationship, right?
Yeah.
First, I would say just try to be genuine, genuine self as you. But I don't know, maybe this can be, maybe cannot relate when we have to work, as a lecturer. I don't know, between the lecturers sort of things. But yeah, I think just be genuine as you can, because as a human we can sense whether, oh, this person is fake or not, and then let the nature selection does it works. And so, but for me, build a good relationship is mostly about the time, how we spend the time, and then how we value the time. It doesn't mean we spend time with them only, but also we're there with them. It means, I was there back then. This is like a silly, I would say, silly sin that I faced the first year in 2018. I did not Thai, and my lab seniors are Thai, not in my own lab, but neighboring lab, and nobody in my lab anyway. So I just had to spend the time because I didn't have friends there. So I just went there to join the meal dinner with them. I didn't know what were they talking about, like I just listen and then just eat. And then ask, oh, what is this? How do you call it in Thai? Oh, this is called, for example, rice is how, and just like how to say, because for Indonesian tongue, we don't have that tones, different tones. Different tones has the same meaning actually, but in here it's different. They have 5 tones, something like that, which is, I think, the same issue with China, in China. So the thing is, that time, and we spend the time almost every day, and then I really had to force myself to be there, to be alert, like after the lab work. So I was so sleepy, but if I didn't spend time with them, how could I have the relationship with them? That's right, something like that. And then I was there for nothing, just listen to them, just eating. I felt stupid, because I didn't know what were they talking about. But eventually later on, after spend time with them, and then this is also the language barrier that I faced. And they started to open, and then, oh, Sylvia, how was your lab going? And at that time, I couldn't just open, my lab having problem. No, I just, everything was fine, even though it's not fine. So, and then just continue talking. And how about your lab? Because many people love to be listened. That's the nature, right? So we just listen if you wanted to be listened. I think that's fair enough, right? So we just try to give them space, and then I think that's a psychological trick that I'm still using anyway. Yeah, how was your lab? How was your supervisor? Is everything okay? Something like that. And then, eventually, I value the most is spending time with them, and then that's if the relationship will be the same level, like lab senior, not that big different, but we have to adjust ourselves a little bit when it turns to be, the supervisor or PI in this case. For me, honestly, I can talk as a friends with my PI, with my other achans, but at the same time, I should know my boundaries. Let's say we just joking, and then the friends bully each other, and then there's a time we talk about work, and then okay, switch to work, just talk professionally. So we just know when to behave, something like that. I think that's the key value, which sometimes, I don't know, but I find it's hard to do it in Indonesia. I don't know. That's my personal experience, especially let's say if, I don't know, I feel this gap in Indonesia that I ever faced with as when I was a student, and then this is the pembimbing skripsi, supervisor. This is like, this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, we cannot talk about, well, of course, we don't really talk about the personal life that much, like deep down or something, expecting, what was that, empathy or something. No, but just, yeah, we just know enough how to keep the boundaries, and then that's all, just respect. Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much. So the key is genuine, behave, and know to how to respect others and be excited for their thing, something like that, right? All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sylvia. And now I want to hear the perspective from Dr. Mada.
Okay. I think generally everything that Dr. Sylvia mentioned, I agree 100%. And I want to add one other things, which is honesty. So I learned a lot about honesty in New Zealand because people here, they will accept you just the way you are, as long as you honest to them. So I learned from my experience here when I applied for another like PhD scholarship in the beginning. So actually, I got two PhD scholarship. So the first one, it was announced on January. Oh no, December 2024. 2024. So to get a scholarship based on project. So I didn't mention to the professor that I've got my first PhD, my first doctorate degree from Indonesia. So after I got the announcement that I received the scholarship, and then we met. Then after we met, I invited all of my one of my supervisor, my main supervisor, to have a Zoom meeting, and I said like, "Hi, professor. Actually, this is my second PhD. I already have my first PhD," because I thought it is not really important to be mentioned in the beginning because I want to redo everything from zero anyway. But for them, that's not good. It's totally a big no. So they say like, Mada, like you know what, that we really love your profile, we love your personality, but I think this is a big thing that you hide from us is not good, because it means that there is another possibility that you will not tell the truth in the beginning. So we need to withdraw the scholarship that we offered to you. And I was brokenhearted because uh, that scholarship was a full scholarship. And then with that scholarship will also enable me to work in one of the biggest research centers in New Zealand, which is GNS. And that scholarship also very very good because including an exchange program to Europe. And then they withdraw the scholarship because I did not tell them in the beginning that I got my doctorate degree in Indonesia already. Then I learned a lot, and then I said sorry. Couple of months later, there is another scholarship opened, and then I learned from my mistake. I mentioned in the beginning to the professor that, hi, professor. His name is Professor Peter Fineran and Dr. Hanarea. My name blah 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 blah. Before I apply for this position, I would like to tell you that I've got my doctorate degree from Indonesia 6 years ago. But when I come down to New Zealand, I noticed that the research centers and the university prefers to hire someone who are graduated from New Zealand or from top university. Therefore, I want to get my second PhD in New Zealand. And then after several weeks change into turns into months. Then they replied to me, "Yes, for sure, we want to invite you for an interview." So for the difference is for the first scholarship over, I started with hiding something, but for the second one, I told them the truth from the beginning. So then they offered me the scholarship, they offered me the salary, and they gave me opportunity to work in another biggest research center in New Zealand, which is Plant and Food or Bioeconomy Science Institute. So what I learned in here is honesty is number one. Therefore, started that time after I know everything, that I just tell to my professor that I had, hi professor, that are you sure to choose me, because I'm a father of one, I have my family, I have a part-time job as a food science or food auditor. I will travel a lot for my job. And then my professor said, well, thank you for telling us in the beginning, and we still want to hire you. Finish. So I think, again, guys, if you want to have a good connections um, with other scientists abroad, honesty is very very important. Of course, like being friendly also the key, and then being genuine also also very important. But honesty is is the sealer, you know. Honesty, in my point of view, it is a sealer between you and everyone, because based on the trust, everything will going smoothly in the future. So I think that's from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mada. Noted for the lessons. It's a meaningful lesson for me. Thank you so much once again. All right. Um, because I don't see any question in the chat box, so maybe I will the Q&A sessions. Okay. So once again, I would like to say thank you so much for the meaningful discussions between us, Dr. Mada, and also Dr. Sylvia. If I can summarize all of our sessions today, through this session, we learned that the postdoc is beyond research, is a long life journey for scientists. Dr. Mada and Dr. Sylvia already shared about the sweet and tears for the postdoc journey, the different culture between China and Thailand, and so many laboratory and institute explanation in both of institution. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Sylvia and Dr. Mada. Before we officially close the session, we will have a quick documentation sessions. May I kindly invite the Jalan Tengah team and all the participants to please turn on your camera so we can capture this wonderful moment together.
I wish I can turn on my camera. My camera just broken. That's
Okay,
okay.
okay. Unfortunately, all right, guys. For the participant, you can open your camera first. Okay, I will wait for about a minute until 3:25 p.m. in Indonesia. Okay, I can see anybody would like to open the camera. So I think they have an issue with their camera. So for the documentation team, okay, smile everyone. Smile. 3, 2, 1, cheers. Wait, once again. 3, 2, 1. All right. All right, thank you everyone. As we come to the end of today's session, I would like to sincerely thanks once again to our speakers, Dr. Mada Triandala Sibero and also Dr. Sylvia Indriani, for sharing your valuable experiences. And I also would love to thank all the participants for your time and active engagement. We hope today's webinar has given you new insight and inspiration for your academic and your professional journeys. On behalf of FRCBB and Jalan Tengah, I wish you all a wonderful day. See you at our next international webinar series. Thank you and have a great day. Goodbye, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, everyone.
Thank
I'm
you,
signing
Dr.
out.
Mada.
Yes. Bye
Thank you, Dr.
bye. See ya,
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Thank you, Dr.
Bye.
Thank you,
Seratu. Bye
everyone.
bye.